To me, it's kind of fascinating watching it because it burns so hot and so quick. And when you think of a whole forest where the trees are so close and so connected, even though the fire blows through and burns everything off, sometimes it's only burning the surface. The roots are deep enough and strong enough that the plant returns after it's been burned. So Laurel-Brook goes back to the farm where I grew up. The spring water that fed our entire farm, that was our drinking water, was the animals' drinking water, started up in the mountain behind our place, just below the native mountain laurel. We always called it Laurel-Brook. Early childhood memories are all based in a garden. I was young enough that my dad and my sisters were taking care of everything else on the farm, and so I went with Mom and helped plant peas and beans and dig potatoes. And Dad taught me a lot about plant material, especially trees and the trees of Pennsylvania. He could walk through the woods in the winter and identify every tree by their bark and their form, and he would be right. Another sort of interesting facet with my parents is what they taught my sisters and I, just watching nature around us, learning to keep an eye on what nature's doing, because nature will tell you a lot. Working in horticulture and working in landscape in many ways just kind of became second nature. It wasn't something where I woke up one day and I'm like, I think I'm gonna try landscaping. It was like, no, I'm just gonna try gardening on a bigger scale. I've always lived in a farm type community. That's where my roots are. And the Belleville area has some of the best crop soil in the state. It's just extremely valuable farmland. And it's a tight-knit farm community. So our farm has always been a dairy farm. That's what my family has always done. We've always had registered purebred cattle. We have Holsteins, Brown Swiss, and Jerseys. In a number of my flower show exhibits, my roots have kind of shown up in pieces that I've used. My very first exhibit with Laurel-Brook was the Year of Holland, and we put cows in our exhibit. And to this day, people are like, oh yeah, you're the cow guy. And this year, a touch or a nod to agriculture is gonna surface again in the exhibit with some old woven wire and posts and a gate across the lane and the old running gears of a farm wagon. No matter how far I go, it always seems to come back to agriculture. The concept behind Phoenix Rising is the regrowth after a wildfire. We often think of fire as only in its destructive nature. We don't necessarily give it a lot of credit or thought for the renewal and the regeneration that it can bring about, plus just kind of the palate cleansing that a fire can bring to an area. And so the idea with this exhibit is that it was an old field that had been abandoned. Nature started to move in and reclaim it, and then the fire blew through and burned everything off. What we're seeing now is sort of a compressed regrowth. And so even though we're touching on that destruction of a fire, it doesn't necessarily kill everything. There is that base and that heart of that plant that's not killed by the fire. The roots are run deep and well established, and it regrows and reestablishes and continues to move forward and kind of hold that landscape in place. So this year's exhibit's touching home a little closer than I expected it to. 25 was kind of a year to burn it down, and there was a lot of events that burned it down for me. At home on the farm that I operated with my sister, we've sold the cows, we're changing our focus, and that's hard to do. Like, it's a really bitter pill to swallow. The dairy cows have been a part of our family forever. We could trace some of our cow families back to the 50s. We are kind of going to raise the operation from the ashes. The dairy farm, the dairy portion's gone, and so now it's the shift to what's next, which will be much more heavily focused on horticulture and green things. There's moments when I'm working on different things for the show that it's like, yeah, this one's sitting right on the doorstep. we've moved further and further away from our agricultural roots. And in being exposed to horticulture and growing something, you feel connected to not just the earth, you're connected to a community. I think horticulture becomes a common ground, a place to meet, a place to recenter, a place to refocus. So I think the show is a really good way to sort of plant seeds and start roots to foster interest in horticulture and gardening and what it can be.